Hi guys. So I legit forgot how to use the camera, but it's been a minute. It's been a year. A lot has happened in that year, but I just I'm coming back officially. But the whole purpose of me even coming back, right? After I posted my first video, like a like a tsunami, like a tsunami is the better way to. Okay, I'm getting into this without even introducing myself. Hi everyone, my name is Dana. Thank you for coming back to my channel. If you're new here, hello. My channel, when I first created it, was going to be about like personal development, my Christian journey, all that different stuff, which it still is. But through talking to God, I feel like, not even I feel, but my life has really been a testimony. And I think this channel, the title or topic category of this channel should definitely be mostly about my testimonial journey of how God has just been transforming me as a person, transforming my life. And with that comes personal development because I am being transitioned, I'm being changed from the inside out. So I will say, I am nervous. I do not like talking in front of this camera. Like, if it was my phone, cool, I can make a quick little video, it's all right. But posting it so that other people can see is very nerve-wracking for me. Like, several reasons, but the main one is because, like, sometimes when I talk, I stutter, or I feel like I don't make any sense. But like literally anytime I bring that up, Moses comes back to my mind, right? Or Jeremiah comes back to my mind where he's like, God, I'm too young. Or Moses, or he's like, bro, I can't talk that good. And God is like, hello, who created you? You know what I mean? So for me, this is really a journey of learning to trust God. The season I'm in is a season of completely 110% trusting God. Like, I've started the journey and stopped and started and stopped and started. But this time there's no stopping. Like, I legit can't stop. And when I say stop, I don't mean like backslide or become lukewarm, but it's more like I get in my own head and I start to listen to the lies of the enemy telling me that I'm not good enough, or that God can't use me, or because of what I've gone through or the things I've done in my past, like I'm just flawed, and like God is looking for perfection, or not even perfection, but something better than me, you know? And if anybody's listening to this, that is a lie from the enemy. Do not listen to it. God did not call us to be perfect. Okay? If anything, like, he chose you for this position. Okay? He did. He definitely did, because he created you in his image. Okay? And these are things that I have to tell myself repetitively, because if I don't, I listen to the voice of the enemy, which causes me to get into a depressed mode, or like it makes me start focusing on my worries instead of focusing on what God is actually doing through me. But yeah, so my goals for this channel, honestly, it's kind of, yes, I want people to watch this video. Yes, I want people to be impacted by this video, but it's also a journey for me and a documentary for me to see how I grow. I've been creating like little snippets on like Snapchat, or I'll post little clips of like my day or a day in the life, or all these different, like, you know, life lately on Instagram and all these different things. But I like editing, right? But it's just sometimes when I edit and I record, I don't post, right? And if God is talking to me and like I wake up in the middle of the morning with a revelation, if I'm not sharing it, who is it really blessing, you know? And I think that would be selfish for me not to share what God is doing in my life. So yeah, I am a 24-year-old now. When I first made my first video, I was 22. Just got my apartment, just got my car. Like, I was making a little over 10K a month. Hence the place I live in. And that was like a huge deal for me because, first of all, me making 10K a month with no degree? What? That was crazy. And then second, like, I'm coming from like poverty. My family did not grow up in wealth. Like, I was the only person in my family at the time making that much money ever in a month. Like, I don't think anybody knew how much I was making in a month because it's not normal where I'm coming from. So like, for God to bless me with that opportunity, what? But did I steward it correctly? No, I did not. Not in the sense that I didn't save and I didn't invest. I did. But before I moved into this building, I prayed and I was like, God, I need a place, my own place where I can create products, because there are certain things that I want to do, but I was just like, I need my own space to do that. God bless me with the space. All right, God, I need the money to do that. God bless me with the money. And then fear crept in. Doubt crept in. Who do you think you are? Why do you think people would support your business? All this different stuff. And I'm just like, okay, maybe I got ahead of myself. For me, like, maybe I was just doing too much. Maybe it was me. Maybe, like, like, my work ethic is good. So, like, maybe I was the one that created, like, these thoughts in my head that this was something that I needed to do. Like, yeah, right? So, through all of that for months, I've just been getting convicted left and right. Like, and I got to a point where I was making so much money and I was so unhappy. Like, daily, waking up in the morning meant nothing. Like, I'm a CNA currently. So my job is to go out and help others who can't help themselves, basically. And at first, it meant a lot to me because I was helping people, But then through the daily routine, my client, like, she was very independent, so she didn't really need me. I was more of like companion slash therapist slash this slash that. And it came with like a lot of mental draining. And she was also not Christian. So we'll have like conversation, which she was a Jew, nothing like not talking on religion, but she was a Jew. So sometimes we'll have like conversations. And if like, part of their Bible is part of the Holy Bible. So like, I think it's the Old Testament. They don't have the New Testament. So we'll talk about the Old Testament at times. And like, we'll just have conversations. I respected her holidays. I respected things that she needed to do. But then when it came time to respect me, respect my religion, there was a little bit of a, but either way, it wasn't in the sense that like she was mocking it, but it was more in the sense that like when I needed certain days off, it just felt like I couldn't get days off. Like, and again, like I said, I'm a very hard worker, and there are moments where no matter how hard I try, I just can't. My brain legit doesn't function. I cannot get up. I cannot move. Like, and it was a lot because I worked in Stamford. If you're from Connecticut, then you know what I'm talking about. But I live in Shelton, and I worked in Stamford, and that was like an hour to an hour and a half drive depending on traffic. I worked from 8 a.m., so that's the morning traffic to go down, and I leave work at 5 p.m. That's the night traffic to come back up. And then like there are certain days where I'd be working 12-hour shifts, and then it got to the point where I started working 20-hour shifts every single day. And I know most people like 20 hours. Yes, I only got 4 hours, and that was because I had church. So I would drive from Stamford to Bridgeport to go to church, and then I would drive back from church to go to Stamford to go back to work. So honestly, that part wasn't hard for me. The hardest part is driving because I would get tired and fall asleep around the wheel. But either way, moral of the story is I didn't feel fulfilled in doing that job, right? I felt like there was more I needed to be doing. And when I had certain business ideas, like one second, I am so sorry. One second. I'm making my video. You're in the video. Goodbye. So, back to what I was saying. I'm sorry. I don't remember where I left off, but I'll start from the fact that I didn't feel fulfilled in the job that I was doing. Where I felt like God was taking me, there was a lot of mental struggle. Like learning to step out on faith and open up a business that God is telling you to open up without proper direction, without like proper guidance on what to do, especially if you've never done it before. It's a scary thing. So I even got as far as reaching out to vendors and like about to order stuff. And I was like, God bless me with the money so that I could order the materials so that I can put these things out. And he blessed me with the income. But by that point, my faith had moved from up here to down here. It was no longer, I can do this. It was more, okay, I'm making this much money now, so let's try to be financially free instead of moving up on the thing that God had called me to do. And I've heard this statement so many times that obedience is better than sacrifice. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Obedience is better than sacrifice. And it is so true. And for the longest, like, I would prefer to sacrifice. I prefer to go through that sacrifice instead of being obedient for real, for real. Why? Because going through the sacrifice allowed me to stay comfortable. It allowed me to be comfortable. Being uncomfortable in an area that, like, you don't know how things are going to work, it's terrifying. And that is currently where I am. Because of the mental pressure that was on me, because of the depression and the anxiety daily, it was hard to get up. It was hard to get dressed. It was hard to do anything. Like going to church, everything became a chore. And I'm like, God, I don't want to be like this. Like, this is not who you created me to be. Like, what am I doing for real? What am I doing? Why am I here? What is my purpose of being on this earth? Every single day felt like a routine. Every single day felt like I was just in a system. I don't know how to explain it, but it just felt like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And I got to a point where I was just like, I'm done. Mentally, I checked out. Like, the money was amazing. Like, I was able to do things that I would never have been able to do. But the mental trap that I was in was worse. Like, it was horrible. Because you have this money and you're like, okay, I need to work this and that many hours in order to do this. And then you work the hours, but now your body's drained. Your mind is drained. You can't focus on the things that God has called you to do. And it just felt pointless. I would get up early in the morning, like, towards the end, I tried. I did. I woke up early. I went to the gym. I did my Bible study, like trying to focus on fixing Dana, like trying to get back to that place where I was before I started making this much money. And I started to feel better, but then the same question would always come back up. Why am I here? What is my purpose? What is the purpose? And I felt like if I wasn't making an impact, what's the point? If I wasn't allowing God to use me the way he created me to be used, what's the point? I go to church every Sunday. I do this, I do that, serve in the kingdom, but yet I'm disobedient to the voice of God. When the Holy Spirit prompts me to do something, I turn off the voice because I don't think I'm good enough when God has already called me. when God has already chosen me. Like, so for a long time, I was at that place. I made my first YouTube video. I'm like, yeah, God, I'm stepping out on faith. And imposter syndrome hit me like a ton of bricks. And then I got scared. I did. I got so scared because it meant that people would see me. Like, people were about to experience Dana, the imperfect, the just everything. Recording yourself and posting it is a complete different thing than just recording yourself, you know? But through this journey, like I said before, it's really just me learning how to trust God and allowing whoever is watching this to know that, one, you're not alone in feeling the way you feel. If you feel like, one, you're not good enough, or two, you don't understand why you are here. I want this channel to be a place where, one, you stop feeling alone. Two, you stop believing the voices of the enemy, because it's a lie. It's a lie. It is a lie, right? Three, learning to do the things that God has called us to do, not to please man, not to look perfect in the eyes of other people, but truly allowing God to change us from the inside out. I've been around so many people, like, side note, I grew up in the church. I'm apostolic. I grew up in the apostolic doctrine, and, like, not talking bad about it, okay? But there are certain churches where it was very legalistic, and I didn't know. I didn't know any better until I got to a point where I got fed up, because I'm like, God, if I don't do this, if I don't do that, if I'm not like this, if I'm not like that, that means you don't love me? That means that I'm going to hell? Like, what? So I was just like, what's the point? I can't be perfect. Like, I can't. No matter how hard I try, I can't. Like, but that's where grace comes in. And that wasn't really taught the way it was supposed to be taught. You know what I mean? It was more like, yo, if you don't do da 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 da, you going to hell, you know? And mentally it weighed on me. And I was just like, I'm done trying. I'm done trying. I'm done trying to please everybody. Like, so I came out of the doctrine that I grew up in. I came out of, like, everything. And I had my season of just trying to figure out for real, who God is. Like, not based on who people say he is, but who is God? Reveal yourself to me, Holy Spirit. Reveal yourself to me, Jesus. And he did. Once I started actually seeking God's face, like, not just because the church is going on fasting, but genuinely, God, I am broken. I am hurting. Like, I don't know where to go. You created me and you put me on this earth. What am I doing? Like, what am I supposed to do? I got so low where only God could pick me up. Only God could pick me up. And in those moments, like, I have videos that I will be posting because, again, like I said, I recorded last year. I just didn't post them. But my journey of transition, not smoking anymore, like learning not to depend on other things to make me feel good, like truly learning to just stand on the word of God and learn that I am good. I'm good. Like, I don't need excessive makeup to be pretty. Not saying that you can't do it. Like, do a little bit. It's cute. But, like, I don't have to adapt the identity of the world. I can stand boldly in who God called me to be. Stand boldly in the woman God called me to be. Not try to fit into every single group, because every group is not for you, realistically. And that was hard for me to believe because, again, like I said, I grew up in church. If you can't fit in with the girls at church, who you gonna fit in with? You know what I mean? So for the longest, it was very hard to figure out who I was, who God was calling me to be, and what I was supposed to be doing. But through everything, I am back here. It has been a whole circle to bring me back here, to go through my testimonies with you guys, to allow you to know that no matter what you have done, no matter what you have been through, God can turn any situation around if you just let him. You have to trust him. You have to surrender to his will. This is just a channel where we allow God to turn the imperfection into perfection. That's it. Not perfection in the way of the world, but perfection through Christ. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy this journey. I will be learning how to love myself through God's lenses, not through the lens of the world, like I said, but to see myself as the woman God created me to be. I can't wait to see the finished product. And that will be years from now because God is always working. But from your big sis, or a little sis, because I don't know the age range of people watching this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.